The other thing is, you're going to hear from me in a couple of weeks. I'm working on a COPD program. What we found in the emergency rooms are that majority of our community members in Atlantic City are dying because of COPD and complications to it. And so there's a project that we're going to work on with AtlantiCare with some faith-based organizations where I'm going to be taking some of our medical residents to churches, talking to individuals and giving them a spirometer test. A spirometer test is when they tell you to breathe into a little tube and it tells you how hard your lung capacity is working. So with that, we're hoping that we'll identify high-risk patients for COPD and get them the care that they need. And then second, we are continuing to do some work with sickle cell disease. We had a meeting today with the Sickle Cell Association of New Jersey. So there is some opportunities that we have. I'm hoping to connect with Beth Israel Newark, which is a big hospital up north who has really perfected their sickle cell disease protocol. But what they're finding are that people do not know they carry the trait. Right. And they are having babies with individuals who also have the trait, and they don't know they have the trait. Right. And so now we're finding a lot of things that could have been prevented, but also we see this as an opportunity to look at preventative medication, look at preventative outpatient opportunities, so more to come there, but I will be hoping to host a focus group for individuals who may have family members that live with sickle cell disease. So something that's very near and dear, I think, to a lot of people's hearts, but very much it impacts our community the most. So I think that's all I have. So remember this Friday, maternal health equity event, COPD event coming soon, and then sickle cell disease. Anything else, Mr. President, that you need me to talk about? Oh, yeah, the Culture Fest. Yes. Culture Fest. All right, last thing. Culture Fest. So AtlantiCare Midtown CDC. How many live in Midtown? In the Midtown part of Atlantic City? Okay. So I oversee the Midtown CDC. On June 28th, we are hosting our Culture Fest on Kentucky Avenue. And so we're going to be using the whole block from Atlantic and Arctic, 1601. We're going to have a lot of artists out there. We're going to have some bands out there. There's going to be some familiar faces. We'll have some screenings, but we're excited to celebrate Kentucky Avenue and the history behind Kentucky Avenue on that day. I'm still waiting on the rain date for that because I think we inadvertently picked the week before as the rain date, so we don't know how that happened. But we are hoping to have a good time. NAACP is sponsoring as well, so you can get a hot dog and hamburger. I'll allow you to have one hot dog and one hamburger. It's not going to mess with your hypertension. But we are looking to get also more involved. But also we want to encourage people to tell our young people about the history of Kentucky Avenue. And, you know, really, we don't need to go far to understand that Atlantic City is rich with diverse history as well. And so looking forward to that. And yes, so that's going to be 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. June 28th. And once I have the rain date, I'll get that to you all, and I'll have the flyer. So just keep that as a save the date.
That's a Saturday.
That's a Saturday. That's it.
Any questions? Any health questions?
What's the date and location again for Friday?
7 South Ohio Avenue. That's called the Medical Arts Pavilion. There's parking inside there, so you don't have to park on the street. And it's 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Then I see you. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
How do you get tested to see if you have the trait for the sickle cell?
So they have a, it's a great question. So there's a couple different industries, but the Red Cross has a trait finder where they take blood and they can identify, but I don't know. That's the one I would use, but apparently there's a better option that we're looking to get information from the hospital. But that's a good question because a lot of people can't remember if their parents ever told them that they had the trait. Right. So it's a blood test for sure, but we are looking to identify a screening tool that we can go around and say, hey, if you don't know if you have the trait, please get tested, just so you can tell your kids or anyone for that matter.
Okay. Reverend Green, you have a question? Well, let me get Councilwoman Bailey first. Ladies first. Councilwoman Bailey, you have a question?
Do they test newborns now?
Oh, yes.
That's a normal test,
Yes.
so they know now.
Yes.
That's the law, isn't it?
Yes, the law. The difficulty is 18 years goes by, you know, short. Well, it's not going by quick for me, but kids, it's taking every day for me. Kids, you could tell your kids maybe 8 years old, and then they get to adulthood and forget that they told you. So we're also looking at a campaign to talk to high school students, especially with a family planning clinic, to say make sure you know your genetics. And it's just the same thing with cancer, right? We want to know your genetic outcome so that we know what you're high risk at. So yes, you get tested for it, but the goal is make sure people remember that. We had, just got to tell you the story, we had someone who got a divorce because they didn't ask and they found out they both had the trait.
Okay.
Yep.
Reverend Green?
My question, you mentioned that.
Can we have one meeting, y'all? Can we have one meeting? Go ahead, Reverend Green.
You mentioned that you're giving away free hot dogs and hamburgers. Could you give some consideration in the interest of health every now and then to have some salad that day?
Oh, we're working on that. That was just the NAACP's contribution. I'm going to other places to get some other stuff.
Oh, okay.
Community effort.
Lift that up.
Yeah. I'm going to Salad Works next.
Good point. Yes, ma'am.
In our community, are children being vaccinated? So how is that going? Are we educating? Are we?
Absolutely. So that is a huge, and thank you for bringing that up. COVID-19 really did a number when it came to vaccinations because people were not getting vaccinated. And so the measles thing that you're seeing right now is a direct result of people who would say, I'm not getting vaccinated. And so now their children are suffering because they allow that to transpire in the other vaccinations that we all got, that it was mandatory. So we are doing a lot of vaccination education. More so, we're even looking at the absenteeism rates of the local elementary schools to see who is not going to school because they don't have vaccines. And in AtlantiCare, we set up physicals where we'll say we will help vaccinate these students because we started seeing absenteeism go up around 6th grade and people weren't coming in. So it's really the education, making sure people are not allowing lingering thoughts around COVID-19 to impact the other vaccination. Have what you want to say about COVID-19, but there's some real serious vaccines you got to get, especially when we look at the rise in cervical cancer in black women. Again, vaccinations. So we've really got to make sure that we are not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So there is some education. Sadly, though, and I don't want to, the federal government is cutting a lot of funds to education and community education. So so just today we were in a sickle cell meeting. There was some great work happening at the sickle cell level where they were gathering data and the federal government cut the grant. Right when they were getting close to understanding the data surrounding our community. So, but here's where we come in as NAACP. We hold accountable these providers, these physicians, these healthcare workers to make sure that they are not giving up on the simple things of educating our community. So just because there's not a grant, these are people that went to school to study these things so we can make sure that that happens. Thank you. That's such a great question.
Good questions. That's why it's important, and I keep saying this every meeting. I know sometimes people might think that I'm just obsessed with this, and I am. There's an assault on diversity, equity, and inclusion by President Trump and his minions, and we cannot let that happen. Later on in the meeting, we'll tell you about something that we want you to support us in. If there's any way this Thursday that you can come to the candidates' night, please come to the candidates' night. 6 to 9 at Asbury United Methodist Church, 1213 Pacific Avenue. And just for the record, we have invited all the candidates. NAACP always does that. We invite all of the candidates, Democrat or Republican. The Republicans have a habit, and I'll say this, in the last 2 elections of not appearing at certain activities. We had a state gubernatorial candidates night the last Friday in March at Princeton University, sponsored by the Princeton University NAACP and the state NAACP. No Republican candidates showed up for governor, and they were all invited. We are inviting the Republican candidates for assembly, for mayor, for county commissioner, and we hope that they'll attend. But if they don't attend, and if some of them say that they weren't invited, that's not true. And I just want to say that in advance. And the reason that it's not true is because NAACP is a nonpartisan organization. We don't endorse candidates, but we do encourage people to vote. But at every candidates night that we have ever had, we have invited everyone. And like I said, until recently, all of the candidates showed up. Republicans, Democrats, even Congressman Van Drew. When he was a Democrat, he showed up. When he switched to became a Republican, he showed up. But now some of them have a different outlook and a different flavor. That's their right, but I just want to set the record straight. We're going to have the food in a minute, but we just switched our order up because there's some important announcements. When you come out to the NAACP meeting, we are glad to have you, We want you to keep coming out, but we want to make sure that we're giving you information that you can use and information that is relevant. And in the time that we're living in, let me just say that if you're not a member of the NAACP, we need you to join tonight. We need to balloon the membership of the NAACP. Why? Not because I want to say that we have a branch that has so many people, but because we need a strong voice to push back on what's happening in Washington, D.C. I was telling a friend of mine, I'm going to stop this. I was telling a friend of mine, he's a elected official in Philadelphia. I said, you can't tell us about Trump in Atlantic City because we know him chapter and verse. Trump was a crazy businessman with no power. Now he's a crazy president, but he's still Trump and we know him. Liz Castro has an announcement real quick. Go ahead.
Hi, everybody. So I just wanted to welcome everyone to our event.
First of all,
Go ahead here, okay.
first of all, because they can't
This is why I
see.
stood there. See, I was
Right,
sitting
right.
there, I knew better. So I will be sharing, well, my lovely sister here will be emailing these flyers over to you. But what I'm hosting here on this event next week is going to be on Wednesday, April 23rd from 11 to 1. It's just for 2 hours. It's going to be a health, mind and body resource fair. We've actually partnered with AtlantiCare and Midtown CDC. They're actually sponsoring some of like our Zumba for that day. So I'm calling it mind and body because it's a little bit of everything. So we're gonna have health screenings, nutrition, cooking, and drink demos, free hand and arm massages, Zumba, health insurance and mental health resources, and free produce giveaways while it lasts. So it's a very, very great event. It's open to the community, so it's here on the campus. It's open to our students, our faculty, our staff, and our community, and we're really, really excited. It's actually being put together because of Minority Health Awareness Month. So we really want to push to just make sure that we educate our community and of all the resources that we have. So any questions, just let me know. I'll leave this flyer up here for now, and it will be also emailed to you.
And it's free?
And it's free. Everything is free. So, stop by, get a free hand arm massage, do a little Zumba. We'll have a DJ. We'll have fruit smoothies. resources. So it'll be great.
What is the date again, please?
What time?
It is from 11 to 1 p.m. just for 2 hours.
And the date?
April 23rd, a Wednesday, next Wednesday to be exact, in the cafeteria downstairs.
And if you come closer to 1, I might do the Zumba for you. Okay, we have the
Thank you.
food, so ladies, y'all can line up and eat. We're gonna have an outstanding speaker in a few minutes after we have our meal. People asked, I think at the December meeting about homelessness and what we were doing against homeless. And we have a young lady who is working with us in the city of Atlantic City who's doing outstanding work. You'll hear from her, Deborah White, in a few minutes. Okay, you can start eating now.